What's up, wrestling fans? We got a lot to talk about in this video. First thing is about Ronda Rousey being upset last night. Her match was changed or whatever. We're going to talk about that. We've got news on that we can figure out. Got some comments about Cody Rhodes' situation, Stone Cold, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And at the very end of this video, we're going to go over what happened last night, man. People begged for the show to be a big group hangout and watch along last night. However, I was inundated with messages today. People that hate Jesse, people that hate Mustafa, people that hate Tex, people that hated Famous B at the very end, people that just hated everybody. You guys, so many different people were so angry about all kinds of stuff. Tex had a fight with Famous B, or rather Famous B had a fight with Tex, I guess. I don't know. That made Tex quit and get angry last night. Man, it was crazy. It was wild. First off, there was a report last night that Ronda Rousey was angry about her WrestleMania spot. WrestlingInc.com. So many other people picked this up. Ronda Rousey upset. I don't know where these reports come from, she says, but it was an absolute honor to perform under Steve Austin at WrestleMania. I wasn't at Hall of Fame because I have a 6-month-old baby that I had to put to sleep. People are literally creating drama out of thin air. So Ronda Rousey says it's all a bunch of fake drama crap and has nothing to do with anything, and she's not angry at anybody. So, hey, I can relate to that because this community of wrestling fans is full of fucking psychopaths. So I understand how that can be, and we'll talk about that in a bit. By the way, tonight, night 2 of WrestleMania, I will be live, of course, right here on the Joe Cronin Show. And tonight I'll be taking calls and reviewing the show, probably with only 1 or 2 people or just myself, since everybody's a baby and a moron out there. And if you don't believe that people aren't babies, morons, and whatever, I can show you the comments of everybody who has a different opinion on this, that, or the other thing. It's almost unbelievable. Man, you guys are adults. You guys are grown adults, but you wouldn't know it. You know what I mean? Fucking people are just fucking retard idiots. Wrestling Inc. has some good transcripts about the whole Cody Rhodes interview last night. He did about a 1 hour or so press conference, really insightful, where he also downplayed drama and rumors, and he was like, hey, man, it wasn't about, control and stuff like that in AEW as much as it was about time. I don't know. It was very interesting. But he also did call himself out for, sometimes saying that he's going to do certain things and then they don't follow through, or the opposite even happens. And he's like, maybe I need to stop making these bold statements and predictions because they never, they end up going the other way or whatever, and they come back to bite me. So Cody Rhodes actually brought up all the various statements he's made, things like, hey, shock factor's out the window. He didn't say that, but that's what, he was speaking about many things. Hey, the ropes are invisible, shock factor's out the window, I'm going to stop wrestling when I'm 40, I'm going to do this, that, and the other thing. And all these weird, bold statements that he always makes that never seem to pan out, or at least they seem to change on the fly and things like that. So that was very interesting. If you haven't heard the entire Cody Rhodes, press conference, I definitely recommend that. It's an hour long. I thought about playing it today here and doing that, but there's just so much to do that it's not right now. It's not worth it. And we're going to be so much to cover tonight on night 2 of WrestleMania that it's going to be unbelievable. So now that those 2 wrestling stories are out there, and if I think of some other wrestling topics, news, and stories that I want to get to, I might bring them up here in this video. I want to remind you that I'm going to be live tonight again for night 2. Hanging out. But once again, man, I want to show you what it's like to live in my world where, at the Royal Rumble, you guys all begged me, please, Joe, have everybody call the show and have a big group watch along. It was so fun. Let's do it. And I thought last night was actually really fun as well. But I did hear the criticisms. Jesse is on crack cocaine. Jesse made certain points unlistenable, unwatchable. Mustafa is annoying. He's not Jake. I understand that. Jake's obviously in the hospital or whatever. Tex is annoying. I don't like Tex. Or some people love Tex. Some people don't like him. Some people like Jesse. Some people don't like him. Famous B came on last night. Obviously everybody was drunk by the end of the show. Everybody had a lot of drinks. And I was busy doing something, and I guess while I was kind of not paying attention, doing other things, letting the guys talk. That's why after a 7-hour stream, 7 hours into the stream, God forbid I take a second to like take a break, grab some water, grab a soup, shuffle some things around. And while I'm doing that, you know, Famous B Tex had great, and Mustafa had really good wrestling conversation. If you go back to the live chat, you'll see people were like, man, good wrestling, you know, finally good talk. Jesse was so annoying. So I was like, great, you know, Jesse was kind of spastic. I don't know what was going on with him. And people were complaining everywhere about it. But I'm like, you guys wanted this group hangout, but okay. But then I guess at some point, Famous B was messing with Tex, and it got real, and then they got into a real fight. And then somehow it's my fault. Of course, it's always my fault. You know, get a hold of your show, people said. Well, I didn't know that this was a real beef because I had just gotten back, and I thought they were playing back and forth because these guys have been playing around for weeks about the belt and fucking with people. So I'm like, okay, they're all messing with each other. Okay. And then all of a sudden it seemed to get real, and then all of a sudden Tex left the show, forfeited the monetize of this championship, which is classic. And Famous B was like, oh, you know, I don't know. Famous B was like kind of happy he trolled the guy, but he was also like, I was kidding. I don't know why he got mad, but I don't know. And so, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. I wish I knew it was a real fight earlier, or wish I knew what was going on earlier. I might have said something, but I was also pretty drunk too, so I was like, what are you guys doing? You know, but yeah, dude, it just seems like everybody had a complaint about everything last night. You know, DJ Scandalous jumped in the Discord. You know what I mean? DJ Scandalous complained about it. Like, I don't get it, man. It was 7 hours into a show. You know what I mean? I didn't know that people couldn't conduct themselves like adults. I didn't know that these people were so crybaby-ish, you know? But I mean, the stream is filled. You can look in the chat with people who are, I hate Tex, I hate, you know, Jesse, I hate this person, that person, Robbie Hyde, first off, thank you, but you know, the simplest is the best. This was a bunch of noise. All the people were annoying. You know, so like I get it, man. But you got to understand from my point of view, I'm getting DMs from different people I'm getting people yelling at me that they wanted to be on the show last night. Why wasn't I on the show last night? People are complaining to me that they weren't on the show last night. Well, we already had 10 people on the show, and I had already moved in some people. And when I moved some people out, they then would hit me up on DMs and yell at me and say, why wasn't I on the show? Why did you take me off the show? Why did you mute me? So I got to say something right now. You're all a bunch of fucking pussies. Because what the fuck am I supposed to do? I can't put everybody on because clearly you're saying today there was too many people on. But when I mute somebody to make room for another person, I get harassed with texts over and over again, text messages saying, why am I on mute? Why can't I be part of the show? There's not enough room for me to talk. Yeah, no shit, because it's WrestleMania night and there's not enough room for everybody to be able to talk. You know what I'm saying? So when I don't put somebody on or when I limit somebody, they take it personally. And they can't just understand, like, hey, listen, I don't have time when I'm live on my show to go to everybody on the side and say, hey, man, thank you so much for that 30 minutes to 2 hours. I now am going to try to, like, do this and do that. It's like you already know that. That's already understood, I would think. But I guess it wasn't understood. So you have multiple people complaining that they're not on the show. Then you have people complaining about certain people that are on the show. Then you have Tex and Famous B get into a fight, and Tex leaves the show, then says he's giving up the belt. And then Joe Compton reaches out to me and is angry that he didn't get enough time to speak on the show, and then says he's sending back the championship because, like, how old is everybody? How old are you all? Like, really? Tell me what I'm supposed to do. The chat is full of people saying different things. You know what I mean? Like, put this one on, put that one on, put this one on. You know, there was a consensus that people were upset about Jesse. Jesse made the stream unbearable, according to this person. But then, if I were to say that, now I'm a scumbag to Jesse. You know? Why do people take this so seriously? You know what I mean? What am I supposed to do? Look at the messages. Look at the DMs. I've got a DM from everybody about every different thing you could think about. Every different thing you could think about, I have a DM about it. It's impossible to do what everybody wants. So I am here in this video to say, I don't give a fuck, you know? But here's what I can do. I can assess the situation, and I can take the feedback. Last night, I did what you all wanted, what the majority of you wanted, which was a group hangout for Wrestlemania. That's what the majority of people wanted. Now, there was a lot of people on the call, but there was a lot of people on the call at the Royal Rumble show, and everybody seemed to like that. But I think what happened was, because it was WrestleMania last night, there was an extra volume of people that maybe we didn't expect. Also, some people getting put on the Discord that I didn't know were going to get put on the Discord when I wasn't looking, and people popping in and out and that sort of thing. Well, here's the thing. You asked for it, I gave it to you. I was worried about it, and I told you all I was worried about it. That's why we don't usually do watch-alongs with a big group of people, right? I said I was worried about it, said I wasn't sure. Now, I thought it went fairly well. Viewership-wise, it went well last night for the most part. Viewership-wise, it went pretty well. We didn't hit 1,000 viewers live, but we did hit about 700 viewers live, which was pretty good. We didn't hit the 1,000 mark, but we did get 35,000 views. So that part worked out pretty well. Donation-wise, support-wise, it was pretty decent as well. But one of the lowest ever at WrestleMania. But as far as balancing people who were on the show, that was a wreck last night. It was a wreck. I mean, you can definitely not argue that part. That it was hard to get a word in certain times, but I was okay with it because I wasn't about to talk the whole entire show because this is what people wanted, was everybody talking. So I was like, okay, it's good to not have to talk the whole show. But I gave it a try, and boy, did it turn out to be a nightmare. You know, people saying, like I said, that they should be on the show, other people shouldn't be on the show. Other people complaining about each other and all this other bullshit. Like, dude, I can't believe what babies we have around here. I do agree that Jesse got into his spastic mode where he was just fucking ramrodding everybody. And talking over everybody like a maniac. You know what I mean? Obviously, everybody heard that. Everybody got annoyed by that. That was something that happened. But again, it's always my fault. Like, it's my fault. Like, what am I gonna do? You know what I mean? It's gonna be my fault no matter what. If I call this out and I bring up your comments about this, I'm the bad guy. You know what I mean? Then Tex and Famous B get in a fight, which I didn't even know they were really fighting because I was doing other things. And I thought they were joking with each other. Because who would think that, like, for the last 15 minutes, they were talking like normal people. If you go listen to the show, they were talking like normal people to each other. Then all of a sudden, I think Famous B was trying to troll Tex about being racist or something like that. And then right as Famous B was trolling him about being racist, he called him boy, which was just a silly coincidence. But we all know what that means, so it was funny. But then, Famous B was like, oh, yeah, and then Tex got angry and then left the show. And of course, I'm blamed for all this, but I don't understand, so I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you guys anymore. I think people just want attention for dumb fucking reasons, because no normal person would get this mad, especially when I'm defending Tex, saying like, hey, he called me boy before. He calls me boy all the time. I said that. Said, to be fair to Tex, he really calls me boy all the time, too. It's just something he calls people. He says, listen, boy, let's do this. He says that all the time. I said that in the fight. So, but it's my fault. Everything's my fault. You know what I mean? I guess, everything's my fault. See, there is no right answer. When you're dealing with mentally ill fuckheads, there is no right answer. I have literally done just about, in my opinion, nothing really. I really didn't do much wrong. I gave everybody what they wanted, a group hangout, which is what everybody asked for during the Royal Rumble. I voiced my concerns about it and said, I don't know, man, that might be rough at WrestleMania. No, we want it. We want it. Put the polls out. I heard from everybody. Now, today, I hear from everybody, Famous B sucks, Tex sucks, Jesse sucks, this guy sucks, that guy sucks. You had too many people on. Now all of a sudden we don't want the group hangout. You know what I mean? Now that was a bad idea. And then, people saying it's my fault that Tex and Famous B had a fight. What the fuck did I do? I literally was fucking grabbing something to drink, reading some wrestling news for a second, 7 hours into the fucking stream. 7 fucking hours into the stream! I fucking dare me! Had to fucking goddamn fucking do something and came back laughing because when I left, everyone was laughing. And I come back laughing and Famous B and Tex are having a fucking, what I thought, some kind of weird exchange. Because everybody wants to be silly and fight over something, and then they want to get serious about it all of a sudden. You never know. Are you being serious? Are you being silly? And this is why when people come to me and they're like, I want to do this work where we get angry. No, I don't like that. I haven't liked that in a long time, if you haven't noticed. I don't care. Because nobody, I can, but not you, can't actually fucking handle it. None of you can handle it. You take it to the real world and you get really hurt. That's what happens. See, that's the difference. That's what happens when marks try to fucking be wrestlers. When someone else delivers a punch, then it gets real all of a sudden. You can't work. You know what I mean? That's why you want to work and you want to create these fucking stories, but you can't because you get angry after a few minutes. Oh, don't go there. And get mad at each other, and then you start fighting, and then you say, oh, you should ban this guy, you should ban that guy. Well, if I listen to every single person who told me to ban this guy, that guy, or the other guy, there'd be nobody here. There wouldn't be a fucking soul here, motherfucker. There wouldn't be a fucking soul on my show if I did that. Most of you guys are pathetic, sad motherfuckers, and everybody's got something to say about this, that, and the other thing. But then in reality, they don't even want that. They're just fucking full of shit. So tonight, I will be live with my WrestleMania review, and I'll maybe bring on a person or two, or I'm going to take phone calls tonight. I'm going to take calls, and I'm going to do it OG style, the Joe Cronin Show style, where I review it, I talk about it, and everybody who said we should have a group hangout can go fuck themselves. Because you motherfuckers lied, and you're full of shit, and you actually don't want that. So fuck yourself. And if you're mad at me because Tex and Famous B got in a fight that had nothing to do with me, you can fuck yourself. You bunch of fucking cunt fucking pussies. Fuck off. I'll see you tonight for WrestleMania Night 2. And I got some more shit to say tonight, motherfuckers. You cunt pussy fucking cowards.